This is Sergio with Cage Side Press. I am happy to be joined today by UFC featherweight Kai Kamaka. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Healthy. Healthy, competing on the highest level. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, man. And last time we spoke was, I think, leading into the TJ Brown fight. And one of the things about that fight that you reiterated was full training camp. You know, it was the first time you got a full training camp. Going into the fight, how did you feel?
I felt good. It was a long camp, so sometimes the camps are kind of too long, but they're not too long. There's nothing with it can get a little. It was just a long camp, lots of time, and it was just long camp, longer to think about that day. But that was it. More time, more notice than anything.
So obviously the decision was very controversial. I think myself, as well as pretty much anybody who watched the fight, thought you had won. I thought you handled it very well. You showed respect and class after the fight. But how did you take it when you got back there and you watched film and you got to watch it back? How did you handle that?
Um, I mean, I handled it the same way. I still think that I won. In the fight, after the fight, weeks later till today, I still feel that I won. I mean, everybody else besides two people and the other side of that scorecard doesn't think so. I mean, they're gonna ride with it, of course. But yeah, so I mean, I treated my life like I won, and as far as up to this point, it looks like I won. I'm beating the guy that beat TJ Brown. I went up. I'm going up in competition, and they wouldn't put me in this situation. They wouldn't have called, and thought of my name if they didn't think, they didn't think so. As far as I'm concerned.
So that being said, usually guys who are on a two-fight losing streak tend to kind of feel like their backs up against the wall. But for you, it almost probably doesn't feel that way because you lost against Jonathan Pierce, but you arguably won the last one. You get a call on short notice. Do you feel like in a way it is, or do you feel like because of the performance last time out, you don't really feel those, that your back's against the wall?
I mean, sure, you feel like that every win or every loss. You feel like you have to win. I mean, you don't train. One, I don't just train to like work out, and two, I don't train to lose. So I mean, we gotta win every fight, especially the time put in. People might think of it as 2 weeks notice, but because I lost that last fight, I was preparing for a short notice fight. I literally didn't take. There wasn't one day that I wasn't in the gym, even after the TJ Brown fight. Monday, I was back in the gym. There was probably 3 days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where I wasn't training. But that was because I was getting a tattoo. But I still showed up to the gym. So mentally, I was around the team. I was in the gym. And then Thursday, Friday, I was back in the gym. I wasn't per se rolling, but I was hitting the bag. I was moving around with my boxing coach. Because I felt like I won. So why am I gonna? The only thing that hurt was my bank account, and two, when you win, and it's coming off of the momentum that I felt like I had. Why am I gonna take my foot off the gas?
So this is your third short notice fight in 4 UFC appearances. Does your mentality change knowing you don't really have a whole lot of time to prep, and does your training change for considering you don't have time to maybe watch film or bring guys in that would fit his style?
No, not really. I mean, my first short notice fight in the UFC, you got to take that kind of call, right? And I was preparing for that kind of call. Already, I fought 2 weeks prior, and that kind of, no, a week, 2 weeks prior to that date, that kind of propelled me, and I had a mindset. I had a good idea that I was gonna get a call soon. I didn't know where, Contender Series or UFC, but I knew it was coming. Or as far as I thought I knew, and so I'm in Vegas for a few weeks, and then I go home because my wife's gonna give birth before, and I go home like like September 1st or something like that. So and then she gives birth. She ends up giving birth in October, and then I come back up almost immediate, like 2 weeks after his birth, which is like November 4th. I remember the day, and or no, November 4th, and then I was kind of like popping, or I wasn't even training at Extreme Couture yet. I was just working with Ray Seffel, just kind of hitting mitts and moving around. I wasn't even planning on fighting. I was supposed to fight late December on the Kevin Holland card, I believe. So that's why I kind of moved back in November earlier than my family, and then they called me like November 21st to fight November 28th. And my wife and kids weren't here yet. I just wasn't settled in. I mean, yeah, I just was taking things like I had to, like, oh yeah, I gotta take this call. That's part of it. Man, yeah, part of me kind of rushed down, but I mean, I wouldn't take it back. That made me a better person that I am for my last fight, and for this one as well. I mean, this is a totally different type of circumstance. I didn't just move, like a week or 2 weeks prior. No, actually, it was November 14th. I moved to. It was November 14th. I moved to Las Vegas, and in 7 days here, then I got a call to fight in 7 days. That's how it worked out. So I mean, this is a totally different situation. I didn't take any breaks after my TJ Brown fight, because I knew, one, that loss screwed up negotiation power on my side, which frustrated me about it. And then, two, I just felt like I didn't lose. So why am I gonna, like, what wounds am I gonna lick other than the one that my bank account took?
Yeah. You're fighting Danny Chavez. Have you done do you know a whole lot about him? And if so, how do you think you match up?
I think I match up well. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think I match up pretty well. I think I'm the Hawaiian Superboy, so it's not far off from the Korean Superboy. But I think my art, as far as stylistically, for me, he might even think he matches up well too. He has a decision win over TJ Brown. Me too. And he lost to Jared Gordon. So, yeah, I don't know. You see two sides. You see a winning side and a losing side of him, and you only can take what you have from there. So, I took like bits and pieces. I haven't watched. I watched the TJ Brown fight just because I was fighting TJ Brown. That's when I kind of watched his fight back in March or February. February, I watched that fight. And then they fought the same night as me against Tony Kelly, so I had kind of an idea of how that went. And then, yeah, my coaches did the rest of the what is it called? The study.
Since the last time we spoke, your brother also made his pro debut. Didn't go his way, but what advice would you give to him after making his debut?
I think I would just give him like everything that he was doing up to that point has to be heightened. Whether it was technically, professionally, or cardiovascular wise, everything had to be heightened. No matter what was the situation, it doesn't matter what was better, what was worse. I feel like everything had to be heightened, and that's it.
And this really is a family business for you as well. I mean, your cousin Ray Cooper his fight just got announced as well. He's facing Rory McDonald. Is he going to be able to be in your corner this time?
He's not. He's not, just because it's kind of late notice, and yeah, we just want to play with COVID for him, for his sake. But I'm gonna be there in Florida.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I guess one last thing before we end it, is there anyone you want to thank, any sponsors or social media you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank all of the Ruka sport team. Ruka has, they're good. They're my main guys. And My social media is Kaiboy Kamaka. You know, at all outlets. So, I mean, yeah, just support me then. And yeah, nobody else has to remind me about me winning TJ Brown's fight because I already know I did.